Hello, everybody. I've got to project into the microphone because the audio in this room is awful.
Equi.
Excuse me. How is everybody? Welcome to today's stream. That is an incorrect title. Oh no. What do I want to do? I want to get rid of that. I don't want to put that one there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry about that, everybody. Bear with me. Let's not have the blocks. It is.
Yeah.
Done. Cool.
Seamless.
Awesome. Oh, it's like we've done this a million times before. Welcome to the stream, everybody. I hope you're all well. I'm just going to turn the volume down on our end because that is quite loud. Yeah, welcome to the stream. I hope you're all well. I've still got a cough, Dave. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, thanks for having it.
I've had this cough now since Christmas, and it won't go away. So I apologise in advance if I cough quite obnoxiously. Dave, should we just address the elephant in the room?
We should. It's not that cold in here. In fact, it's rather pleasant.
It's quite warm, actually.
I don't need to wear a coat. However, I hadn't realised I was streaming today, so I am wearing a green t-shirt.
Show the work.
So, my green t-shirt at the moment looks very white.
You can almost see it on, mine's live stream. But yeah, Dave is now a floating head.
Headless head.
With a beard.
Hello.
And some T-Rex. So, hey, we'll just leave it like that, shall we?
I'm becoming part of TerraTech. I will be one with the surroundings. With my camouflage.
Timoa on YouTube says, why is this game so unpopular when it's perfect? I can't believe. I'm going to take offence to that because it is very popular within a select group of people. A small select group of people. No,
Well, I think that shares that sentiment. Why is it so unpopular with other people when it's so popular with us? Yeah.
I mean, why isn't it more popular? Why isn't it a game when it is the perfect game, right? It's the perfect.
It is.
Anyway, welcome to the stream. We are waffling. This is waffle.
There's no other game.
We're 2 minutes in and we're waffling nonsense.
We are.
I'm gonna have a go. It's like Lego. I love it. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're going for.
It is.
Lego meets weapons.
A computer game that's not a Lego computer game.
Minecraft.
Not Minecraft.
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's.
So, welcome to the stream. I'm Matt. I'm the community manager for Paleo Studios, and with me is
Hello, I'm Dave. I'm a producer of TerraTech.
Dave, the talking head / producer. So yeah, we both work on TerraTech.
Honestly, I have a real body.
It's a good body.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, man. Wasn't fishing for compliments, but thank you anyway.
That's fine. I'm willing to fish them out. GTA Lego, exactly. Yeah.
GTA.
I can see that.
I guess the shooting, yeah.
Sharmoni says, hi Dave. Everyone say hi Dave. Hi Dave to Dave.
Hi Dave today.
Hang on, I'm sorry, I'm reading a Tetros on YouTube says their Facebook developers announced they will add logic blocks to their sandbox game and the fans are already sharpening their knives to build Minecraft using these. Exactly. So the first person to build Minecraft in TerraTech
wins
TerraTech.
Uh-huh.
Actually, if someone can build Minecraft in TerraTech, I will. No, I was definitely going to overpromise. I was going to say I will personally go to their house and give them a high five.
Virtually via email.
Yeah. Personally, virtually via email.
We'll craft a personal email to them to give them a high five.
Right, so we are going to be looking today at circuits and systems value blocks. So, those of you that have been watching the circuits and systems content or have been paying close attention to what that is, maybe you're asking yourselves, what exactly is value blocks? Because we haven't shared or shown much about what they do or what they are yet. That's for good reason. So I'm going to talk a little bit before we go into exactly what we're going to be showing today, and then we'll jump into it. But to preface everything with the fact that, or the fact that up until this moment, up until now, the circuits and systems blocks output a value or have been working with a value of 1, right? So when you connect a toggle block to a wire, to a light, the output, that input block outputs a value of 1 that gets carried down the wire into the light. And that's been the default since we launched, since we since we've been sharing the content. But that's now going to change because value blocks change the signal value of that, or the signal strength, or the signal value of that signal. They're more commonly known as maths blocks because they help in actual circuitry and electronics. They increase and decrease and multiply and change the voltage and amp of circuits.
Yeah.
Give or take. I mean, I'm paraphrasing for myself because I'm not a clever man. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. These value blocks that allow you to change the value of your signal, and exactly how that's implemented and how you can use that in the game. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be looking at today. Dave, have you got anything to add to that? Do you want to clarify anything?
Yeah, I mean, as you've been saying, so we've been trying to introduce things slowly. So as you say, ones and zeros, ons and offs. Now a little bit more, so we can change those values and do things that we'll be showing you. It's limited at the moment, but we'll be adding more things. I guess the big thing, do you want me to say the thing that it does?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the big thing is going to be the RGB block, or pixel. So we've got the on and off white pixel. This will allow you to do different colours, different values. The higher the value, the different the colour. That wasn't English, but...
No, it makes sense. I got it. If I can get it.
Yeah. But eventually we'll think of other wonderful things. You guys can suggest things to us as well, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And that's how this whole process is going to work, pretty much, until circuits and systems are released. Is we're going to release new stuff, new features, new blocks, and you guys and girls and everyone in between is going to tell us how that works and how happy you are or unhappy you are, and we'll make changes along the way.
Yeah.
So
we'll try and minimise the unhappiness, but definitely maximise the happy
as much as we can. Cool. So that's kind of what we'll be looking at today. In terms of news and updates from the studio, not a huge amount to report, to be honest. It's been a quite... Last week we didn't stream because I was stuck at home because of the train strikes. We had train strikes in this country, so I couldn't get to the office or the studio. But that's fine because actually, like I said, it's been quite a slow news week. I honestly couldn't tell you of anything that's happened since the last stream. I genuinely don't know. No updates, no new content. We've shared some stuff, but we're going to show you some of the new stuff now anyway. So I guess without further ado, let's just get stuck into it. So wait for the game to catch up. There we go. So let's just load into R&D, and I already have some example texts ready to go. So I'm just going to deploy both of these, and these feature all of the new value blocks. So first up, we have let's look at these ones first. These are your basic value blocks. I'm just going to get rid of this tag. What I think we've done very well, personally, what I think we've done very well with the circuits and system stuff is how we've sort of visualized, or what do you call it? Like
the readability.
Readability of the circuits and systems blocks. I know we've talked a little bit about that today, and there's still more to be done on it, but I think even for now, I think it's great. I think the fact that it's very obvious that this is an addition block, this is a times block, this is a divide block, and this is a minus block. So let's just take a look. So, like with all the other circuit systems blocks, these have inputs and an output. So these are the two input slides here, and this is the output. So if we were to set a value,
so there is another elephant in the room at the moment. So these displays are normally a lot more visible. They glow orange, and you can see them quite well. At the moment, just in this build that we've got, they're not glowing. So it's kind of difficult to see what the display is. So you're gonna have to maybe trust us if it doesn't show up. But they will be doing maths. Yeah.
So again, let me just caveat all of this by saying this is still, everything you're about to see is still very much work in progress. What you're seeing right now is, like Dave said, these particular blocks that have got interfaces on them, or UI, whatever you want to call it, they have already had an upgrade, and they definitely won't look like this, because we know that. So this is a new type of block. It's an input value, so you can, in theory, select the value that you would like to output to your signal. So this just acts effectively as a toggle block. So we can set its value to...
It's got quite a huge scale on it.
Yeah,
it's quite unwieldy at the moment. So it goes from 0 to 999. We're going to change how that works and how easy that is to use when we release it a bit further along. But for now, it's a bit fiddly to get precise numbers.
So you can just about see. So right now, this additional block is doing nothing.
We say nothing, so it's
of
taking,
course, it's adding.
it's taking the 80, adding nothing to it, and 80 plus nothing is 80.
Let's add. So this is another thing we're going to be looking at is how you manually input values into these types of blocks.
This slider is just a placeholder at the moment. We're going to change that soon.
So let me just
excuse
me. Go into photo mode. So the addition block does exactly what you would assume it would do. It takes two inputs, adds them together, and outputs that value. This is the most rudimentary way that we can show it, but it works pretty simply, like you would imagine. So 80 on this block, 40 on this block, they add together to make 120. You can just about see them on the screens. So yeah, that's effectively how that works. And this is useful, and the reason that these blocks exist is because we will look at the RGB block in a minute. There's also another block that is affected by signal strength, and that's the actuating ramp. But again, we'll come on to that in a minute. So that's the additional block, or the addition block. There's also the multiplication block. So let's set this value to.
I'd go low.
Okay, so here's the question: which input is which? So what's being multiplied by what? I'm guessing this is first and this is second.
So that's something that we're also talking about at the moment. How we can make that more visible.
Yeah.
How we can. That's part of another meeting we need to have to talk about the readability. At the moment, I believe it's left to right, which is actually left to bottom because then right is the output. So,
well, let's find out. So 6 times 5 is
multiplication should be fine either way round.
Okay. Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
So 6 times 5 is 30. That is good maths.
Mathematics.
6 times 5.
Mathematics.
30. Multiplication. Math. Simple, easy. Yeah. So that's again is another simple block. Division. This is where the order will matter, because you can't. Does it? It would matter, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, so looking at the blocks. It should be, I believe it should be the left, then the bottom, and the right is the answer.
So 14 divide. No, let's do something more. Let's do
go for a higher number and then divide it by a low number.
68 divided by 14. I feel like that's divisible.
No.
Nope, 0. So here's an interesting thing. What happens if
you've got 1? That's it defaulted to 1.
But it should still. Oh, okay.
You didn't. Yeah, you didn't confirm the number.
Let's go up to 125.
There you go.
8 remain, and it just leaves the remainder out, right? So
yeah.
To the nearest. Okay, fine.
Round
so there you go. So that's the division block. So receiving an input of 125. And it's dividing that by 14 and the other input, and outputs a value of 8. That is how this works.
Yeah.
It's very clever. And last but not least, in terms of the maths blocks or value manipulator blocks, I don't know another way of describing them.
Yeah.
We have the minus blocks. So again, pretty simple. Let's just set this to 284. Have I reset that? No.
Yeah.
Take away 112, gives us 172. There you go.
Maths.
Sebi on Twitch says, "Oh my God, it's the floating head spirit of Dave."
It is. I now haunt the studio.
So Dave wore a green T-shirt in the studio today, and we didn't think about that when we started streaming, and now it's just a funny anecdote that we will tell our children in years to come.
Yes.
Years. Cool. So that's the. Can we go into negatives? Will it go? Can we have a negative signal, or will it just default to 0?
I don't know. I think it will just not show the negative. It'll go to 0.
Yeah, it'll just default to 0, which would be weird because then.
And if you add 999 to 999, it'll just display the max, which is
So 9. So 999 is the absolute maximum value we have with the signal.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's in essence how each of the maths blocks works. There are some slightly more complicated ones that kind of act. I'm assuming they act as like an and/or, similar to and/or gates.
Well, they work as like maths filters for signals. So on this one, which I have to remember which way around it is.
So 68 is
greater than.
Lower than.
If we're looking at it upside down. The greater than and less than.
Oh, it should be this way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So all blocks have an input on the left and an input on the bottom. So you know which way around the block is. This is the wrong way around. It says this.
That's fine. So okay, so this if this number.
Oh wait a sec. Sorry, these. So we're still working out the readability, and so they do work differently. Sorry, there's an input on the left and the right, and they feed out the bottom.
So there you go. So if this number is less than this number, outputs a value of
1.
The default value of 1,
Which is on. So these go back to the on or off principle. So they'll send an on signal.
Exactly, and this whereas if we go to that 36 is less than that. If we go on this one less than 33, it'll turn off because it can't work that function out, so it turns itself off. Vice versa, if this number is greater than this number, which should be 0 or 1, I'll budge this up just for demonstration's sake. It will also output a value of 1. Again, you can't really see it on the thing. It isn't really that relevant. All you can see is that all you need to know is that it's outputting a value of 1. And moving on to the equals, again, this works effectively the same as an AND gate.
But the values have to be the same.
But the values.
So this is where it's going to be tricky. This is where we're going to test you, see if you can get 50 on this.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
Well done.
Yeah, cool. So as you can see, both inputs equal 50, equals, and then it resolves and outputs a signal of 1.
Yeah. So this allows you to do kind of circuits that then add and tick up, and then when they get to a certain limit, they then trigger, or if they're before a certain limit, they could trigger before, turn off after.
The community will know this far better than I do, because I'm not, as we've already established, particularly smart when it comes to this sort of thing. So I can't particularly visualize how this, but then again, this isn't aimed at me. This is aimed at much more cleverer people than I. So yeah, we're excited to see what you can make with it, what's possible. In theory, this should now, if you couple this with the RGB pixel block, you can make a computer, right? You can, in theory, run Doom if you make a pixel. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna go with that. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
No, obviously, there's still a lot more that needs to be done, but yeah, it's pretty awesome. We're pretty happy with it, and effectively these are the last types of blocks or categories of blocks that we've got to show for circuits and systems.
Yeah.
More blocks will be added and taken away. Bit of a maths pun. As we go,
like divided opinion on that one.
Oh, I could times this.
You have no power here. That's times. Power, yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we're excited to see. So let's put this into action, shall we? Let's build
the scary part.
Let's build a computer. Oh, see, I told you what. 1 second. I'm back. Excuse me. So let's build something that we can actually visualize. So we've not really been able to show off the RGB because we've sort of glimpsed at it, but because we've not been able to manipulate the signal value very much.
It's a tricky one to show without showing all of the value.
Yeah.
Manipulation blocks.
So let's.
I mean, the easiest way to show it to start with is if we hook up one of the value inputs to a wire and then to a pixel.
Yeah. Let's actually clear this a bit. Sorry, I'm getting rid of all these.
Leave.
I'm going to leave the multiplication of plus.
Okay. Going fancy, going sideways. Okay. It's going to be tricky. It's going to work better if you're looking straight down, I think.
Okay.
Sorry. Ruined the street.
No.
I'm sorry.
Let's get back there. Right. So let's just get rid of this as the output, and we will find the RGBs. So you can see there's just loads more blocks here already. We've also changed the so we made some changes actually. We'll go over some what changes we've made. We've made some changes to the color pixel and the variable color pixel. Sorry, it was called the white pixel. We've now changed it a little bit. I'll come on to that in a little bit. But let's first of all put it's the variable pixel that we want, isn't it?
Yeah. If you pull it out and put a wire under it.
Pop that there. Let's just get rid of it.
I think we've got an extra wire as well, haven't we? In this the yellow wire was in the previous.
Yeah, so there's an extra wire. So is that just another yellow? Is that just another colour?
Yeah, it just gives us more opportunities to have separate colours so they don't mix.
Fine. So and the black wire is just another.
That connects all of them together.
Oh, okay. So that's all the colours.
So you can use that to join all the wires together.
And then we have the one-way wire as well, which it's very clever. Right. So let's just play around with it then. So right now the output signal should be 0. So let's start adding. Oh, hang on.
It wasn't there.
Oh, there you go. So it's purple. And then if we set
so it uses the 3 digits for red, green, and blue.
Ooh. And yeah, that's it. So this is how the RGB pixel block works. It allows you to, it receives a signal value and then outputs a color based on the output value. So this output value is, what is this? 284 plus 342. Whatever that turns into is pink when I reset it. So that should now be 0. So it's all wrong. So we're back to a nice sort of teal colour.
Yeah,
I'd say that's teal.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that. So the 3 numbers, the first digit will be the red value. So the higher that is to 9, the more red it is, and then green and blue, same.
Cool. So it takes the 3. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's just recap. So it takes 3 digits. That are in the output signal. You got an E.
So if we go, try and get. So this is all of them maxed. So we get white, and then obviously all of them set to 0. It's off. And then let's try and get. I'm not going to be able to get 9. 9 should work. It didn't work. Why did 9?
Just get rid of that one.
Okay. Let's say 90. It can't get 90. This is so obviously this is the work in progress thing that I was talking about. Was we need to have a better slider for that. That's as close as I could get to 90.
And that's blue.
Yeah. It's actually it's max green. Max green and blue. So I get to try and get a red. Oh, this is thrilling.
Red! It's beautiful.
So maximum red, 0 blue, 0 green. There you go. That's how it works.
And that's how it works. So
magic.
If you want to make Doom or Minecraft, for example, in TerraTech, you have the capability to do that.
Yeah. I mean, so how many pixels in a screen? That's a lot. At least 10.
I think Minecraft's pretty low res. I've played it on a CR, on a Game Boy.
Oh.
Yeah, you wouldn't need more than, like you say, maybe 10.
At least 10. I'd say at least 10. Maybe even 11 pixels.
So that's how values work. We could probably... Okay, fine. 24 minutes. So we're about halfway through the stream. We could spend ages trying to build this out, but in essence, this is effectively how it works. We can also show you the. Let's just get rid of it because we don't really need to add anything. We don't need to do maths.
There's a good question now from Red Royal about whether we'd be adding system blocks that interact with conveyor systems and other blocks. So we're starting to look and see what other blocks they should react with and change. So we have started adding some things. Obviously, things like the ramp that we're putting in and the door that we're putting in, they were made for this. So we're gonna they already work with this system. There's no reason why we can't then start adding other things, to it. Things like he says drawing a complete blank. Obviously, the light's already on, so if there's one signal,
lights, weapons, rotating anchors, and there was a fourth one. Oh, explosive bolts. Those were the original ones. We've since added boosters, so we can show you how boosters work, and propellers as well.
Yeah.
So boosters and propellers now are activated by circuits and systems. We'll show that how that works in a minute. But I can show this.
It's in the early stages, and it won't be in this release.
100%. Is it even in this version? Can we play around with it here?
It's in this version.
Okay.
This is the version that we've got the broken LEDs in. So
nice, fine. So, will this be available in R&D Labs and Xbox? Probably not, at Alan Go Lab on YouTube. What will more than likely happen is once we're happy with everything as it is on the PC Steam version, we will just release it to all the consoles as as a normal update. So you don't even need R&D Labs DLC to access it. It'll just be available if you already have the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to cough again. Sorry, one more thing I wanted to show. So there's two circuits and systems blocks that interact with or are affected by signal value. There's one which is the RGB. We've changed the name of it. I don't even remember what we called it. The pixel block. The other one is the actuating ramp. So if you may have already seen, I've set the ramp angle to the lowest possible value, which sets it to set by signal. I feel like it should be a toggle rather than a range. That's a whole other thing. But again, something that we're looking at.
So the UI work is still to come.
Yeah. And what that means is I can use my signal value input thing, which basically acts as a toggle. But let me just set this to 46. And it's going to go to an angle of 46 degrees.
46 degrees.
If I go...
And we can have any angle, all of the angles between 0 angle and 90 degrees.
90 degrees. So
89,
80,
we can have 88,
that's for 82.
87.
Tell me more, Dave.
There's a 14 in there somewhere.
So as you can see, if we go all the way up to 90, 91 is as good as. That's about as steep as you can get. If you go beyond that, we'll actually show you what happens. It's nothing happens. It doesn't do a full circle, which is to be expected. That's an expected behaviour, I would say, for actuating.
You would hope the hinges would stop.
Yeah. So that's another block that is affected by the circuit value. Another sort of quality of life thing, which I really like that we've done, is if we do this. Let me put just at the end of it. If we increase the signal strength, you can already see it starts. The wire has increased in colour. Let's whack it right up. Oh.
This was turned off.
Oh, okay.
So the wire does light up. So if you see the wire that's on the floor there, it's brighter than the wire that's on the floor.
Let's do it.
It was too subtle to do the increasing colour.
Okay, fine.
So
let me just go into photo mode. Sorry, I thought this work had already been done, but apologies. But you can already see this value. This wire has a stronger signal going through it, so it's slightly brighter. This one has no signal going through it, so it's quite dull. We've ramped this right up in another update. It's not been applied to this version that we're playing, but I can confirm I saw it today, and the wire will be much brighter depending on the signal strength that it is receiving, or it is receiving. So they turn on weapons and lights for cabs.
So when you add circuits to a tech, if you connect a weapon to it, then the weapons are part of the circuit. So they won't fire if you hold down space. They'll only fire when you trigger the circuit.
What about the lights, though?
That's the same with lights. When a light is connected to a circuit, it doesn't react to
Yeah, but
daylight.
lights in a cab. I mean, like,
Oh,
so
sorry.
theory-
Yeah. So I completely missed the whole point of the question. Sorry. That's me avoiding answering the question. Cabs don't actually connect to the system as such. See how it's
Oh,
not
okay.
on a full wire?
No, yeah, you're right. So, Sharmoni, do they turn on weapons and lights for cabs? No, they do not. As you can see, this little connection here tells you that the cabs currently aren't.
I guess if you push space,
Exit, yeah.
but it doesn't affect guns.
And then if
On the cab.
the lights also at night time, the lights will turn off at night. Turn on at night. Sorry. Cool. What happens if two different color wires are next to each other? They do nothing. They don't interact with each other.
So that's the whole point, and that's the beauty of the different coloured wires. The different coloured wires won't interact with each other. They'll connect to each other in a way, so they'll have little connecting parts, so you can branch them off each other, but they won't actually send signals down each other. But if you were to replace one of those wires with a black wire, Matt, then the black wire hooks to all of the wires, so you can join them up. So if you change one of these green ones or the red ones for black wire, then you can connect those two circuits together. Really?
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I got confused.
That's okay. But you can also branch off of them as well. So, see, so now you've got the green circuit and the red circuit connected.
Beautiful.
And so so we've given you some more cables as well. So that's why we've got the yellow one in there as well. So we've got the green, yellow, blue, and red.
Are you planning on allowing us to write values instead of just using a slider? Yes, X Thunder Flame. That is exactly what we're planning on doing. Well, not exactly.
We're still talking about what we do, whether that's a toggle, whether it's some kind of input buttons, or whether it's a value that you can type in. We have to think about how it's going to be received and used on different inputs as well. So if somebody's using a controller, you've still got to be able to bring up a text input maybe for a value. So we need to look at that.
Sorry, I spoke out of turn.
That's
But
right.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Okay, cool. Right, so let's look at some other things that we've added. So I've just pulled up a random tech that was
That's
in my
very cool.
in thing in my Snapchat folder. So I'm going to plop a toggle down here.
What are you going to make, Matt?
I'm going to put a that's annoying. I know it's fine. Wrong way.
Backwards boosting. Forwards boosting. Not forgotten we need wires, right?
Right, so I've added some boosters. I'm now going to go back into this. I'm going to add some. Actually, sorry, no, I'm being awkward, but I want to make sure I'm doing it right.
Cool.
That wasn't right. Oops. Is it not letting me go that way? Okay, fine.
You struggling. It's fine. And then you can just take the booster off and stick it in the one.
Oh, does the attachment have to?
Yeah,
okay, fine, right.
Not part of the circuit otherwise. Yeah. There you go.
I just thought with weapons you can attach it anywhere and it'll.
Yeah.
For this thing. Okay, right. Let's make this a bit more streamlined. Sorry about this, everybody. I'm just sort of figuring this out on the fly.
There you go. That'll work. Oh, you're going to do two.
Yeah, I mean, I want it to be balanced, you know. I'm an expert
Like all things should be.
tech builder, so yeah, exactly.
Do we have an expert tech building program? Is there a training package?
Yes, yeah. If you sign up through our unique link, you get exclusive benefits.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Right, cool. Right, so boosters basically are now linked up to circuits and systems. So if I toggle this on, Boost is activated forever.
Yeah.
I don't need to press anything down. I'm literally just pressing forward, and my excessive amounts of fuel tanks means that I can
Have
just
all
have
the boost.
Oh no!
Oh, it was going so well.
No. Right, let's turn this off. May make it somewhat unstable.
It's a thing of beauty.
This is why they need to be lower down. But you get the idea. You get the point. Yeah. So boosters are on all the time. I'm going to turn them off now.
Obviously, other circuits are available and possibly desirable.
Hang on, sorry, I was being a doofus. There's only one attachment on. Okay, yeah. There's only one attachment on these boosters.
Yes.
I was being a doof. Yeah. All right, let's look at propellers instead now. Then. Propellers are on. Are they facing the right way, Dave?
They are.
Let's find out.
Yeah. It's a very heavy tech, though. So.
Oh yeah, we give you a little bit of a nudge just when you need it.
Yeah.
So you can passively have your propellers or boosters on all the time.
You could point them up and make it lighter.
Too bad.
I think that was down. But should be easier to control now. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels easier.
Okay.
So there we go. We are front light, back heavy, front light. I think that's what they call it in Formula One.
Technically, I have no idea.
Anyway, so there you go. So we've added the functionality for boosters and propellers to be used with circuits and systems.
Yep.
That's another addition that we've had. We've also added, as you've seen, the maths blocks, or the value blocks is what we're calling them, I think. Yeah. Was there anything else?
I don't think so. We've been having a lot of meetings recently. That's a good or a bad thing, depending on you like the meetings.
I hate meetings.
And yeah, lots of stuff talking about circuits.
Yeah.
I would personally love to see what people think of it and have lots of feedback and make sure we're going in the right direction with circuits and systems.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good segue. Yeah, we have. If you like what you see, if you've been playing around with circuits and systems, or you've just been watching the streams or watching the content that we've been putting out, and you kind of have ideas or suggestions, and you've got these sort of things in the back of your head that you want us to know about, we have got a whole dedicated channel on our Discord server, which I'm going to link to right now. I'm already in it. That's convenient. I'm going to add it to no limits. It's never going to expire. So if you have ideas for circuit systems, head over to our Discord server. I've shared the link in chat. For some reason, it didn't work in Twitch. I'm going to try again. Oh, Twitch. Oh, that's annoying. For some reason, I can't send links in Twitch chat. I don't know why. I'll look into that. But yeah, if you head over to our Discord, there should be links in our Twitch channel. If you head over to our Twitch channel, there are links and everything in our sort of channel description and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so go and check those out. And yeah, hit us up with your ideas and suggestions, because we need to know, like Dave said, we're at a really good point with circuits and systems now where you've been playing around with it enough. We're getting some really good feedback and really good ideas. We need to know more of it so that we know that we're going in the right direction. Yeah. I think sorry, go on.
I was going to say that Discord, obviously, it's not just for circuits and systems. It's general suggestions for the game as well, improvements. I mean, you can see the rules in there, but one of the things is if you keep it to one suggestion per post, because then we can look at it and properly assess kind of what we're going to do with it. Yeah, really.
So help with that and supplement that point. Just to prove that we actually do stuff with it. For example, the map. All the map work that went in, and Django did loads of work on implementing this mini-map system and this, these new blocks. It was all off the back of suggestions that we'd had through the Discord channel. Now, I'm not saying that work wouldn't have been done without it, but it definitely helped. It helped us make an informed decision as to what we should be working with TerraTech. And that's a really good spot to be in. And I think what's also really exciting and encouraging from my side of things, but I got a bit emotional in our meeting earlier. I did a little bit.
It is a joy.
Yeah, it is a joy. It's sort of it's so humbling and heartwarming when the suggestions that you're getting from the community are in line with the ideas and sort of the direction that we want to go with the game as a team. So things like, as an example, with circuits and systems, the value sliders, we know they're really hard, and we've shown they're really janky to use. We knew that was going to be a problem, and just having that reinforced by the community just told us, okay, well, this is the higher priority. This sits much higher on our list of things that we want to work on compared to adding new blocks or whatever. So it's an ecosystem, to use a term.
And I guess if you really liked the fiddly sliders, we could have made it a mini game to try and get 4.2. No.
Excuse me. Yeah, go check it out. Go check out our Discord. It's really important that we get feedback on that, and shout out to the people that are already using circuits and systems. So that's Excellent, that's X1 the Flame, that's Charmony. I think you've been playing around with it a little bit. I could be wrong, pardon me. And anyone else that submitted something to the Steam Workshop. Was there a fully functioning calculator already? Oh God, sorry.
And as of today, we've added a tag, so you can actually tag them up that they've got circuits in as well.
So that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, thanks for. Oh,
nice, right?
Good
Teamwork.
Yeah. We've added a tag on the Steam Workshop now. So if you've made a circuits and systems tech, like a calculator, for example, and you've already uploaded it to the Steam Workshop, you can go to the item on your Steam Workshop page, and obviously, if you're an admin or whatever, if you have access to it, you can edit the tags to include circuits and systems. So everybody else that visits the Steam Workshop can see that there are circuits and systems texts that are on there, and they can get inspiration from those themselves. So yeah, go check that out. Value. Sorry, I was saying maybe allow the. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yep. So it's one of the things we're going to consider. Sorry, the question there is about maybe allow you to type in the values.
This is how bad my dyslexia was. I read that as maybe allow typo into the values, which I thought was saying we'd misspelled or mistyped value.
Value.
I was like,
no.
have we mistyped value? That's how bad my dyslexia and stuff was. So it's fine.
Yeah, we do need to look at the sliders, see if there's a different solution. Maybe a different type of slider, maybe a slider with a toggle, maybe a text input. We just need to see what we can support and what would be most user friendly. Really.
Exactly. So you mentioned it earlier, but the main difficulty, the main sort of roadblock that we come up to with this is particularly with text input in a game like TerraTech is, and we have to think about console players. It's not a particularly straightforward user experience to have to go and bring up the keyboard or whatever to input a manual number. So maybe there's a different way of doing it. I don't know, but that's what we're talking about, and just to hammer that point home that we're something that we're working on.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Anything else you want to talk about, Dave?
Off the top of my head, can't think of anything.
No. Fine. Good. Just the way I like it. Are there any other questions from chat before we sign off? It's a bit early, but we're 45 minutes in. Any questions for me or Dave? I'm a community manager and Dave is a producer, so hopefully that gives you an idea of what we can and can't answer. Cat Scottish on YouTube says multiplayer please. Well, I don't know if this is good news or bad news for you, but multiplayer's been in TerraTech for a while now. Co-op's been in there for a while. Team Deathmatch has also been in for some time. So yeah, if you're asking just with multiplayer in general, it's already there. Go check it out. Excuse me. Right. If there's no other questions, we will leave it there. I hope I've covered everything on.
Yeah.
But yeah, go build Minecraft in TerraTech. That's what we want to see, and then I will personally email you a high five if you can make it happen. Oh, he meant craft. They meant crafting. Sorry. Crafting in co-op. He's talking about updating it. Updating right. Okay. Fine. We're getting bits. We're getting bits of detail. So crafting or co-op crafting, as we sort of we've referred to it as.
Yeah.
That is on our list of things to look at. And I will be brutally honest, because I like being open with everybody. It's quite low on our list of things to look at, if I'm honest. I've explained this quite a lot. I'm happy to go over it again. I really don't mind, because I feel like if people are asking about it, it needs answering. But the problem that we have with crafting in co-op is it just doesn't work. In its current state, if we were to just add the crafting blocks that are in single player and add them to, or take the blocks that are in single player, take the single player crafting blocks and just add them to multiplayer or co-op, they just won't work. The game will crash. This isn't a speculative thing. The game will literally, we've tested this ourselves, it is unsustainable. There's a load of technical reasons why. I won't bore you with why, because also I don't really understand half of them myself. I just know that they don't work.
Yeah.
So we don't want to implement something that will ultimately break the game. We are looking at alternatives to that. However, and this is why it's so complicated, the crafting system, as you can imagine, is very, very intricate, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong with that. So effectively what we'd be looking at is basically creating a whole new crafting system just for multiplayer, which is no small task. So when people say just enable co-op crafting, unfortunately it's just not that simple. We need to be a substantial amount of work would need to go into it, and we're not talking about that's work that the work that we've done on circuits and systems could go into that. Like, we're talking about refactoring the whole crafting system. We're talking about potentially adding spriteless silos, which might not mean much to people at the minute, but trust me, that it's a lot of work. So, so circuits and systems will be working in multiplayer for the explicit reason that they have been designed to work in multiplayer from the ground up. What the difference with crafting in co-op is, TerraTech was only ever originally built as a single player game. It wasn't until we were into pre-release or early access that we got a lot of feedback from the community that they wanted a co-op mode, and we went off and we made a co-op mode. And unfortunately, the side effect of doing it that way around is that crafting wasn't sustainable over a network, and that's why we came into these problems. However, circuits and systems is being worked on top of the existing sort of multiplayer co-op system, so it will work. Touch wood.
It's being developed. It is still being developed
Yeah.
at the moment, so it's not released at the moment, but it has been, as Matt says, it's been developed in mind the whole way through doing circuits and systems. So.
Yeah, but it's a good shout. I mean, that's a very good point, Cat Scottish, is circuits and systems will be in multiplayer. But as for crafting, it's just such a mammoth task that I just think we have other priorities, which is like, it's like anything. It sounds like an excuse. It sounds like we're just sort of fobbing it off with sort of some sort of nonsense. But when it comes to this sort of thing, it's literally Dave's job to prioritise these things, and he'll tell you that it's just not worth it. It's just, at the minute, it's not worth the time that we would have to put into it.
That's it. Blame the floating head.
Yeah.
Blame the floating head. No, you're right. And then there's fun things that we can't do at the same time. So we wouldn't have been able to do circuit systems. We wouldn't have been able to do much of anything if we were doing that kind of big piece of work of like changing all of the crafting. So it's that thing where we have to keep on making nice fun things for you to keep you playing and enjoying yourself. And then see what we can squeeze out of the extra time as well. So
yeah, exactly. No, exactly, spot on. I was going to say something, but it wasn't relevant. We will leave it there. Thank you so much to everybody for playing the floating head.
Blame the floating head.
Shun the floating head. No, we were going to leave it there. Thanks to everybody. Say thanks to Dave. Say thanks to Dave in chat for being awesome. And being a big floating head.
Me and my floating head.
Hi, floating Dave's head. Tune in next week. I don't know. Oh, who? I don't know who that was. Hoping it was Stay One. Thanks, Dave, the big floating head. Well done, everybody. What should we do next week? Maybe mod review. We've not done a mod review in a long time.
Yeah.
Or another community core. Or I'll figure it out. But we'll have another stream next week. I'll be here with hopefully another floating head. I may make it compulsory that everyone has to be a floating head.
It's liberating.
It's ChatGPT is the okay, fine. ChatGPT is our new chatbot overlord for TerraTech Game Twitch chat. Awesome. Bye.
Let me be first to bow down to our new overlords.
Yeah, Red Raw said this will I made a circuit board skin. Sharmoni, you have to share that.
Wow.
Send that to me on the Discord, and I will endeavour to show that off. Hopefully on next week. If we do a mod review, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'll show that off. And also, Exxon's done some really cool. I was on the workshop. Nice. I'll dig that out and hopefully show that off. And next week's mod review. We'll do that. I feel like that's made my mind up.
I think you've committed to it now.
Mod review. Fine.
Enough times.
Who can I rope in to do mod review? Taku's not done one for a while.
He's not going to be here though. He's going to be away.
Can we fly him in?
No.
Oh, fine.
Budget constraints and all that.
The wire tools and wire spawning tool mod is now on.
Yeah, I saw that on the front page when we were loading up Steam before.
Yeah. I actually featured the wire tool, the wire changing color, the wire color changing mod that Exxon made. That was featured in our last Steam Workshop highlights video because it's a nice nifty little mod that helps. It's a nice little quality of life thing for players to play around with. Right, I'm going to stop wobbling. Waffling. Have a great week, everyone. Like I say, tune in next week for a mod review. I'll probably feature a lot of circuits and systems mods, courtesy of Exxon and Sharmoni, and hopefully Legionite, possibly. I don't know if Legionite's done much. We will see. Right, I'm going to shut up. Bye, everyone. Stay floating head wave. Bye.
Floating arm.